How would you feel if a Genshin character pulled out their cell phone during a quest? Would this feel world-breaking? What if it was an older phone? What if it was a smartphone? What if it was a character like Aino? She's a genius inventor, maybe she made one. Realistically, it doesn't matter. A phone would be way too immersion-breaking for a world like Genshin. This is a fantasy game that, well, yes, it has some technology. Having a cell phone would just be too strange. Wait. What do you mean they have one that's just shaped like a ball? Oh my god. See, when world building, you need to understand that the audience will try to understand and follow what is normal for that world. Sure, in real life, if the Pope was dripping this outfit, maybe you would question it, but perhaps in their world it's more normal. The problem is that expectations get set really fast. In part due to how humans get used to stuff really quickly, and in part because we have so many stories as reference points. This creates a library in our head of what every time period is meant to look like. This is old-timey, this is modern times, and this is futuristic. You cannot set a story in a modern setting with seemingly no fantasy stuff and then have a pink monster walk by with no one questioning it and go, yep, that's my world building done. They now know that pink monsters are normal here. The level of fantasy involved should be set really early into a story, and so should the level and type of technology the viewers are expected to encounter. Genshin breaks this all the time. Like, constantly. The reason they can get away with it a bit more is because the whole point is that we got isekai'd all the way here, so technically you can expect anything. And every region is so different, it might as well be its own world sometimes. Natlan is just when it started getting kind of goofy, which is why I love this region and why everyone else hates it, so you know, you win some, you lose some, I guess. But they've been doing this forever. Ignoring ruin guards and these pillar thingies, since one come from Kandria and that place is a shit show. And I don't know, these pillars have that Breath of the Wild lost ancient technology thing going on. We can just call it a reference, otherwise it's plagiarism. But I'm going to show you the first time Genshin confused the shit out of me with its inconsistent technology. And it was right here. How? Boba was made in the 80s, and here's a guy from Edo period Japan just going for it like it's nothing. It's funny and amusing, and it doesn't make any sense. From this point forward, Genshin puts in any technology it wants in front of you and kinda goes like, yeah, it's got magic, so it works. For example, Shogun creates puppets. She's the Archon. Puppet here doesn't have to mean just some like wooden guy. So assuming it's some magic bullshit actually works. Except we learn from Scaramouche that these were made using Kandrian technology, and the Fatui were, according to Miko, able to modify him. So we get hit with the, it's kinda magic, but kind of technology, just take our word for it. This type of question is answered even less when the entirety of Sumeru has an earpiece that's basically Wikipedia because Gnosis. You could say that this is mostly magic because Gnosis, but how they managed to basically hack it to trap people in a dream? I don't know. Maybe it's something like Kermansol, because this is just a database. Scaramouche might be holding his hand out like it does shit, but frankly, a nerd with a comp-sci degree would probably be as effective. Okay, to be fair, Kermansol just acts like a database and has no basis in technology as far as I know. Except the fact that you can use it to make puppets, yes, sure. Why the fuck not? But sure, if we want to look at the stuff like the Aura Trees and the Akasha and say it's powered by God Juice and therefore it doesn't count, that's fine. So like, what's up with the Ark? Rizboy here never mentions it being magic. It's actually just some comp-sci nerds getting it done. And this thing is definitely running some technology we don't have. And also, surely it breaks the laws of physics? I don't actually know physics, but if I did, I'm sure I would tell you this breaks them. Anyway, I digress. Because Inefa and the rest of Aino's gang is also crazy advanced. You can say, oh, Inefa has this core thingy, that's why she's so advanced. And even without the fact that she's an AI that might as well be human, she's a fully fledged robot able to fight by herself. In comparison, the ones we currently have suck. I'm sure today we could make a robot that's able to move more effectively. But the problem is also the rest of Aino's Clanker gang. They seem to be able to understand voice commands as well, or follow you when need be. All of this is adding details to the simple fact that there are robots in the same time period as medieval Europe and Edo period Japan. I know enough history to tell you that while Europe was fighting with swords and shields, it certainly wasn't the Balkans that had access to the fucking mechs. This is of course if you ignore Japan and the mech they made in 1582. Kinda looks like this one. What was this thing? A massive robot that's somehow able to get more power from dreams and turn this guy into a god, implying that if you had a Gnosis and some random ass power power source, you could actually just become a god? Or maybe not, because bro gets cooked by whatever the fuck this is. Are you technology? Are you a living thing? I have no idea. And then we arrive at the thumbnail of this video. The thing is, the Roombas aren't just Roombas. During the Archon quest, when you take control of them, Patui soldiers yell commands at you and don't question it when the Roomba actually listens. Now, I get that this is so you can have a feeling of keeping undercover, but in universe, this implies that you can just bark orders at this thing and it knows what you're saying? Modern AI struggles to know what the fuck is going on. And you're telling me that their house cleaners are more advanced than the stuff people are leaving their families for? So where does this leave us? And why does it matter that Genshin's technology timeline is all over the place? Well, I think the reaction to all this technology is quite interesting and shows two different concepts that can be used when creating a world. First one is simple. If something is old-timey in a fantasy world, that makes sense. If something is beyond their current technology, then it's some magic thingamajig and it also works. But when something is modern, it feels really out of place. I can't see this little guy if I go outside, but a traffic light in Genshin would feel really modern, out of place, and world-breaking despite being less advanced. And the second part is that setting expectations, even within the same universe but different regions, makes all the difference. Because of the fact that from the moment we set foot in Notcry, we were in a city made of machinery, and the first person we met from there was a full-on robot, all this other stuff that should make no sense for the time period is accepted by most people. I do also think that most people are willing to accept a magic explanation for these things, like the Gnosis powering what is basically internet. The main problem child here is Natlan. Even though it breaks all the same rules as the rest of the game does, Natlan, in my opinion, doesn't explain it well enough for most people. It honestly comes a bit out of nowhere. I think the idea was that Phlogiston was this basically magic energy source that lets them make all this crazy stuff. Except they didn't really make that super obvious from the get-go. There is one time in Shalonen's quest where she takes something and writes with Phlogiston and it's treated like she's looking at the code of a program? Or like the inner workings of a machine? It's done once, in a quest you can play literally after you've done all of Natlan, and it frankly explains nothing, comes out of nowhere, and isn't established consistently enough for the audience to tell that this is how everything in the region works. It's just not presented well. And my final proof that this is all in presentation is this guy. Look at this guy. This guy makes no sense, but almost nobody questions his existence. Because this whole island is set up as this party summer vacation area, people don't really think about it too hard. I mean, there are mushrooms that come colors running about. Of course there's a big dance stage that has a giant ball with little arms and an LED face that dances for the vibe. What are you, stupid? To wrap all of this up, there's a reason people didn't complain about this or this, but had a problem with this. Oratrice and Akasha both fit the theme of their respective regions. And those regions, to be fair, have a fairly simple theme that you can instantly connect to them, with these devices expanding upon them. And that is really the biggest takeaway here. If the device fits the theme of the place it's in, people are way less likely to point out that this map makes absolutely zero sense. But Natlan didn't really do that good of a job explaining its themes in the first place, which is a shame because these designs are so cool. The flying gun is cool. What do you want from it? Like, what am I supposed to say about it? It's a flying gun. It's so funny. But alas, a poor execution is all it takes for it to all fall apart. Yet that's a story for an upcoming video, talking about a certain Archon. So, you know, feel free to sub if you want to, no big deal or anything. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Don't drop completely unexpected technology on your audience and pretend it's nothing, and I hope you have a great day.